We're not talking about small, shitty resolutions that you're likely going to break. We're talking about empire resolutions that are going to change your life, that are going to move the needle, they're going to help you make more income, have a bigger impact, and of course, influence more people in the world worldwide. We are heading into a brand new year with brand new resolutions, but we're not just going to make any old resolutions. We're going to make empire resolutions because this is the Empire Podcast with Bedros Keuilian and my man, Craigie Ballantyne.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Seriously though, this episode is all about making empire resolutions that are going to make you lots of money, help you make a lot of impact, income, and increase your influence. Craigie, let's get started, my dude.
All right. I think this one is for everybody. You know, sometimes even for me, it's to know your numbers. Know your numbers and test and track them better than ever before. Because if you want to have an empire, you got to know your numbers. You got to get serious. It can't be just about, I'm just going to do these marketing and hope people come in. No, you got to know what works, know what doesn't, so you do more of what works and less of what does not. So talk about how important and maybe a specific example of knowing the numbers allows you to spend more money and dominate the competition.
You know, it's almost like this was meant to be because we just came off the tail end of your event, the Perfect Life Retreat. And I was talking to someone in the hallway. They said, hey, Bedros, you're selling your franchise, this Fit Body Bootcamp, but now that November and December are coming, it's the slower season. Who's going to want to buy a franchise? Do you then set lower expectations for your sales team, right? Because we were talking about the numbers.
Yeah.
I said, no, I absolutely do not set lower expectations. I actually double my marketing dollars. And they said, why? I said, because I still want to close more people. So if people are less responsive, I have to double my marketing dollars. Now, here's why I'm willing to do that. It costs me right now, about 8 months out of the year, it costs us $6,800 to get a new franchisee on board, right? The cost of getting a new franchisee on board. However, in the month of late October, November, and December, I'm willing to pay up to $13,000 for a new franchisee. And the reason for that is I know my numbers. I know that I am willing to double my marketing ad spend and pay $13,000 for a new franchisee because I don't care about that front end $30,000 money, the buy-in fee. So people go, well, wait, then why aren't you spending $30,000? I can go higher than that. But remember, I've got taxes, I got to pay commissions, and some of that money goes towards buying traffic for that new location. So I'm willing to forego all of the front end money of $30,000, and I'm focused on the 7 years of franchise royalty fees that I'm going to get from that new franchisee. So if I didn't know my numbers, then the month of November, December would suffer because I would feel like, gosh, I could only still spend $200,000 a month on marketing, on traffic for our franchise. But because I know that sales go down in that time because you're competing against Santa Claus and Thanksgiving, et cetera, I'm willing to double my marketing spend because I know I'm willing to spend $13,000, even $14,000 to get a new franchisee on board and still be profitable on the back end where we're getting our royalties. And so without knowing your numbers, and all of a sudden that person goes, hey man, like, I don't know that about my business. I said, well, have you tracked those numbers? I said, no, I haven't. And so when the holidays come, you might think to yourself, well, I guess I just have to expect slower business. But you don't. You can actually find a way to market more and still thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't like it. I have business partners. I own a couple of gyms, and I don't like it when they get in that, oh, it's summer, we're just going to allow for a slow. No, you don't give up. You don't claim defeat before the game even starts. So really, really great advice there. The second thing that I want all of our viewers, all of our listeners to resolve to in this upcoming year is to treat social media, switch that into treating it as business media.
Yes.
And what that means is stop going on these platforms looking for entertainment. Stop going on there to waste time. Instead, go on there with a limited amount of time to go on there and do something impactful that moves your business ahead. Every post that you do needs to be purposeful. Every comment, every share, every like, everything that you do, every video that you make needs to move your communication ahead with your clients and prospects until they become customers. So that is just a different mindset that you're going to have. I know a lot of people start off a different mindset about health and nutrition and relationships. Well, listen, we can have a different mindset about how we use our iPhones and Android phones and all that stuff, about how we use that time. And when you go from social media to business media, it puts you in control of that thing rather than it controlling you. It's a game changer.
You know, that's really good advice where that's concerned too, because oftentimes people go and view themselves, well, they don't even realize they view themselves, but most people are consumers of content.
Sure.
Right? If you look at it as social media, you're a content consumer because you're going there looking for entertainment. Let me get a good chuckle. Let me like, love, comment, etc. On the flip side, those of us that use it as business media are creators of content. So if you're a consumer of content, I'm not saying don't get a good laugh. Listen, I get a good laugh. I know you do. We send each other stuff sometimes. However, 90% of my time on social media is creating content that's going to move people into my funnel and into my business so that I can add value to their life and I can add money to my bank accounts.
Yeah. Who is your favorite chuckler Instagram account? Like the people would be surprised that you follow.
Is it Dr. Fandangle?
I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah. So I discovered him on Steve Weatherford's channel.
Okay.
And he'll just put up the funniest memes, like the one that he put up over the weekend. It's a picture of a dude. He's like jacked and he's got his shirt open, abs, and hair done really nice. And that's like the Friday picture. On Saturday, he's got a beer belly already, and he's just a mess, and eyes are swollen. Yeah. And he's like, "This was my weekend. How about yours?" It's very short, quick captions, but very witty.
Right, but that's Bedros controls that time, and so listen, one tiny little chuckle, and then into your business. Very, very good. Another thing, this is something you talked about for a while, but people have gotten away from this. People need to use your Star Story Solution marketing, and now they can apply it to more than just email, which is what you taught it years ago. Now you can do it in video.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's explain what Star Story Solution is. When you are marketing on social media, it doesn't matter Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube, if you're making a video, you can still use the structure of Star Story Solution. For example, if I want to talk about, let's say, my friend and coaching client, Craig Ballantyne, I might say, hey guys, let me introduce you to my friend and coaching client, Craig Ballantyne. He is an amazing author. However, he wanted to figure out how to get more of his books sold, right? So I'm already positioning him as the star, right? And the story is he wanted to get more of his books sold, and he was looking for help in building a funnel that would produce coaching clients. That's the story. And then I go into the solution. And so as Craig and I met together in my office, this is what we talked about, and this is how the funnel was going to work, and here's how the upsells were going to work so that we can spend more marketing dollars and get a more highly qualified lead into his business model so that he and his sales team can follow up, reach out, and close them on his $25,000 coaching program. That's the solution. So whether it's a video or it's in written script, Star Story Solution, who's the star of your product, your business, your service? What is the story, their struggles, their frustrations, their fears, their desires? What is the thing that keeps them awake at night? Talk about those things. That's the story, right? And then, of course, what is the solution? Of course, you are the solution. Your product or service is the solution, but really go into it. Really talk about the details and then finish that with a call to action and say, hey, look, if you are an author and you want to sell books, but then convert some of those book buyers into coaching clients like my friend Craig has, you might want to click the link in my bio or click the link in the description box and go and fill out the application and potentially become a coaching client where I can help you scale your business faster. And now you've turned social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, into a buying frenzy instead of just a content place.
Oh, absolutely. I love that one, love that one, love that one. So the next one we're going to jump into is more of a mindset.
Yeah.
A mindset for this year, because right now, more than ever, it seems like every year it gets more and more instant gratification. I want results now. I want to make money now. I want to be a millionaire overnight. Listen, it's not going to happen. And so we're going to go back to a great quote. Jim Rohn was the master of great quotes, and he said, you have two choices. Choice of discipline or the choice of regret. And the discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. And so I want you to choose discipline over the pain of regret, the pain of discipline over the pain of regret. And by doing that, it means you're going to do the work, because success is simple once you accept how hard it is. And Tim Grover said that nothing is easy. Nothing is easy, and that if you want to be super successful, you have to master your craft. You can't master your craft overnight. So that's the mindset you're going to take. Now, you're going to build an empire, but it's not going to come overnight, but you can do a whole lot in this next year when you're willing to delay a bit of gratification so that you can go and get real, meaningful results. Not likes and loves, but the actual followers that then you can turn into dollars with good systems.
Dude, you know what? If there was just one resolution they can make for this year, if that's the one they make, where they actually accept the fact that it's going to require hard work and time and singularity of focus and not shifting their focus from one product or service or idea to another, that will make anyone successful under any definition.
Yeah, absolutely. And now another mindset that I'm going to give you is to stop discounting your greatness. And I've actually just realized this is a very recent finding for me. My friend Matt Smith, a friend of ours, he's always said people discount what they're good at. So think about something you're good at. I mean, you are the master of creating funnels and just being able to, like, somebody gives you 2 sentences about their business and you, next thing you know, you've mapped it out. Now, if you discounted that, then you would have a hard time asking people for money on that. And that's what I realized. You know, for a long time, I was like, well, why would someone come to me to give them structure and discipline and focus and all this stuff in their life so that they can go and make more money? Doesn't everybody have structure and discipline and focus? I honestly thought people, I like to use this joke, like, I know what I'm doing on March 16th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, that's months in advance. Yeah. I thought everybody knew what they were doing. You know, nobody even knows what they're doing at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And so for a long time, I kind of discounted, like, this is, like, why would anybody pay top dollar to spend a day with me to do this? And then I realized after asking people when they go through a workshop, what was the biggest takeaway today? Oh, when you gave me the structure and discipline so that I can go and get, you know, faster results in my business. I'm like, I got it now. And so the nutrition coach, you've always eaten well, you're in great shape, and deep in your mind you think, this is so easy. Why are people paying me money for this? And therefore it's hard for you to say, yeah, my coaching program's $300 a month. And so you say, I'll just give you this, you know, meal plan. It's only $20 or whatever it is, and but you're doing a disservice to them. And so that was something I realized. And so this year I want you to resolve to stop discounting your greatness, your gifts, your experiences, because they are very, 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 very valuable to people. You put in a lot of work to get here, and it was a big mountain you climbed, so do not discount your greatness. And when you get that mindset shift, now you're going to have more confidence when it comes to making that offer, that call to action. You're not going to go do it meekly. You're going to go, listen, I can help you. I am, you know, the absolute world's best at this. I'm the only person who can give you this result. You know, here's the investment, and I'm going to get you the fastest results possible.
Let me explain to our audience why so many people discount their greatness. And it's not for any other reason. It's not because, well, gosh, people are broke, and how are they going to pay me for it? That's not it. They have a syndrome that I call the nothing special syndrome. In other words, oh, what I know is nothing special.
Right.
Not realizing that what they know is very special. Like,
incredibly special.
To me, like you said, you can give me a couple of sentences on your business idea or your product idea, and I can see exactly how the funnel would look and how the marketing would work and how the client would scale up that ladder and become your highest paying client. It's a gift that I have. It's nothing special to me, but I realize that it's a gift, and so I have to charge an extreme amount of money for it, because the more people pay, the more they pay attention.
Yeah.
And so if you give away your product and services at a deep discount or even free because you don't think you're worthy or you don't think there's anything special about you, you're actually doing them, as Craig said, a massive disservice, because they're not going to use it. And so the more they pay, the more they will pay attention and use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think we're getting better and better with each one of these mindset tips. And this one, man, this was a game changer. I did this exercise at the retreat on the weekend, and I had so many people come up, you know, men almost in tears, telling me how valuable this was. And so this is helping you overcome your limiting beliefs, because everybody has limiting beliefs. And for a long time, I called myself the introvert. I was the introverted guy. I didn't like to be in group settings. I didn't like to talk to strangers. I liked to be quiet. And I put myself in the introvert box. And if I'm in the introvert box, what do I get to do?
You get to do nothing because you're a quiet guy.
Right. I get to use all the excuses. And so, people out there watching, they go, I'm not good at sales. I can't be on time. I can't do video. Okay, great. Now you're in that box. If you're in that box, you've built these walls, and you are not going to move forward in life. Okay, so what I want you to do is take out a scrap piece of paper. Unless you're driving, do not do that. But if you are not driving, take out a scrap piece of paper and write down, what box have you put yourself in for 5 years, 10 years, your entire life? You know, again, I can't lose weight. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't hold a relationship. I can't keep money. I can't make money. I can't ask for the sale. What box have you put yourself in? What limiting beliefs?
You know, let me share a full disclosing story here that you helped me overcome a limiting belief. The year was 2010. And we were running our info mastermind group together. I forget what city state we were in, but you were on this rant. You were on the rant, and the rant was somebody asked a question, and they used the excuse of time, and you said, "Hey, look, I want you to set a deadline, and I want you to cut your deadline in half."
Yep.
Right, and that's one of the biggest takeaways I've taken from you. I've taken so much away from you, and so in that moment, as you're going on this rant, telling people to cut their deadline in half and cut it in half again, I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I've always said that I wanted to run a marathon. I wanted to run long distance, just to try. But I put myself in the box of, well, God's designed me to lift weights. I got muscles, I've got thick bones, I've got thick tendons, and I'm designed to lift weights. And so in that moment, for years, I'd been in the box of, oh, no, by design, I'm supposed to lift weights. And so I'd sold myself on the idea that even if I want to run long distance, I'm just never going to because of. But your rant of cut your deadlines in half and cut them in half again got me so pumped up. I texted the missus because she's a marathon runner, and I said, hey, when is your next marathon? She said, in 6 weeks, the San Diego Marathon. I said, great, sign me up for it, right? And in that moment, it's almost like a wall from that box fell down, and there was this freedom to come out of this box, and I came out. And in 6 weeks, I trained for and ran a marathon, 26.2 miles, proving to myself that the only thing that was stopping me was the limiting belief. So if Craig and I can have this massive impact on you of set a resolution where you will be able to break out of the limiting beliefs, trust me, the year will be epic for you.
Yeah, and so you have on that paper, you have those limiting beliefs. And like Bedros said, he built up the walls around him. But the only person that could break those walls down was him. And so you're going to break your walls down here. You've got your limiting belief. You can draw a box around it on that paper. Now take that paper with your limiting belief or limiting beliefs on it, fold it in half again. And now on the count of 3, you're going to rip it. 1, 2, 3. Rip that once, rip it again, and rip it again. All right? You have broken down the walls around those limiting beliefs. They no longer hold you like they held me captive. I call it golden handcuffs, shackles in my mind around that whole introvert thing. And one day it's just, enough of this. I'm going to go and be my better self so that I can become my best self. You can't just become your best self. You got to become your better self first. So get rid of those limiting beliefs in this year so that you can go and stop discounting your greatness.
I'm going to share a story.
Bring it on. Which story? This is like...
And the irony is
49 different introvert stories here.
The irony is that in the story that you really were in a box, and let me explain. So I've known Craig for well over a decade now, and we've been friends.
Do I can tell the story where you got locked in the bathroom in Vegas?
In Aria, yeah. You absolutely should, actually. I think people would get a kick out of that. But look, when you had yourself in the box of I'm an introvert and I just, I'm not good with people, etc., you would literally go in an elevator, and I'm sure you've shared this off stage before, and I remember like you wouldn't face the door like everybody else. You would face the corner with your back to everybody because just this introverted mindset. Today, the Craig 2.0, the extrovert who I love so much, you actually start asking people questions in the elevator. You start actually. There was 1 year where you were hugging people in elevators.
Can I tell you the joke that I told in the Santa Monica elevator?
Oh, tell me.
Okay, so this is actually, I think people get this one. It's a good laugh. So it's a busy elevator. We're in a hotel in Santa Monica. I'm there visiting Jay Ferrugia, and I'm like, okay, I'm walking over to Jay's house from the hotel. It's Sunday morning. Everyone's going down to brunch, and it's a tiny elevator to begin with, and there's 7 people in there, and this guy comes in with a baby carriage. But there's no baby in it. So obviously his wife is down at the bottom, and I just turn over and I look and I go, did you forget something? And everybody in the elevator laughed, and the next thing you know, they start talking to one another. And it was only a couple floors down. I'm like, and
you were the icebreaker.
Yeah, and I spent like 30 years, first of all, not just looking into the corner I would go to, this is the story that I share most of the time, is that when I used to go to hotels for a seminar like my Perfect Life Retreat, I would ask for a hotel room on the lowest floor possible so I could take the stairs. And it wasn't for exercise. It was so that I wouldn't have to go in the elevator with strangers and that uncomfortable elevator ride.
What an evolution you've
Yeah, it's all good
What an
times.
evolution.
Good times. So,
all right, so how do we follow a detailed 90-day plan, Craigie?
All right, so you've got a whole bunch of stuff in your head. You want to make this year your best year ever. You always want to do. And so the thing is that you're like, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, I got this project, and if you're just walking around like that, it's as if someone took this big box of an old school jigsaw puzzle, opened up your cranium, poured in all 1,000 pieces, and then shut your cranium and then said, and left you alone. And like, think of all the clutter up there. It's like an attic where you just haven't cleaned it out for 40 years. So when you build your 90-day plan, what I call this, it's like taking all those jigsaw puzzle pieces and pouring them out over the table, kind of like vomit it out, like the brain dump of like all the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And now you build a 90-day plan so that you get all those jigsaw puzzle pieces put together, and then you can see the picture and you know exactly what to do to go and have success. And this is going to be a huge breakthrough for you. So just take out a piece of paper again, and on the left-hand side, write down your number one outcome goal for your business. What is the number one outcome goal you want to achieve in 90 days? Is it get 100 new clients? Is it to make $100,000? Is it to sell 20,000 copies of your book? Numbers-based outcome goal. And we'll use a weight loss analogy so people get this. A weight loss analogy being, in 90 days, Mrs. Jones wants to lose 20 pounds. Well, great. You want to lose 20 pounds? We don't fully control what that scale is going to say. It might be 18 pounds. It might be 22 pounds. But what Mrs. Jones controls are the process steps that get her there. So I say to her, Mrs. Jones, we're going to get you 20 pounds in 90 days if you do all of these things. You're going to go to Fit Body Boot Camp 4 times a week and do those workouts. You're going to go and use John Berardi's Precision Nutrition. You're going to stick to that 90% of the time. And then you're going to drink 3 liters of water per day. Those are the 3 process goals, the action steps that she has fully in control, right? She just decides whether to go to workouts, do the nutrition, drink the water. Now, Mrs. Jones, if you do those 3 process goals, those big rocks, those huge action steps, you're going to get as close as possible to 20 pounds lost in 90 days. Great. So that's what I want you to do for your business. I want to get 100 clients. Great. I don't fully control that, but I control running a Facebook ad every day. I control using our Empire referral strategies. And I control sending 3 emails per week with a strong call to action. Great. If I do those 3 things, the numbers show I'll get 100 clients, 90 to 110 clients, thereabouts, maybe even more if I do those 3 things. That's the first huge step. Now, what I've realized, if we just stop there, it's still abstract, but what we need to do is give somebody a quick victory. So what I want to say is, what can you do in the next 24 hours to move you ahead? Even as soon as you're done this podcast, who can you contact? What email can you create? What website do you need to make known to your list to make sure they get on the right email list so you can contact them? What can you do? What referral script can you create within 5 minutes of listening to this podcast so you have a quick victory? Because when you have a victory, you get momentum. And when you get momentum, you get motivation so you come back tomorrow. But if you just thought about this and then you woke up the next morning and got into all your busy work and then be 2 days later and you still haven't done anything, you say, this is not going to work. You lose momentum, lose motivation, and quit. We don't let you quit. So you get a victory in 24 hours. Then think about what can you do in 48 hours, 72 hours, 7 days, 21 days, 28 days, 60 days, and the next thing you know, you've built out this exact step-by-step marching order plan for you to achieve this huge outcome goal in 90 days. Not a year, but 90 days, time collapsing your results. And that jigsaw puzzle is so clear. And if you do this 4 times in a year, my goodness, think of the growth you're going to have this year.
Guys and gals, I want you to go back and listen to this entire episode one more time. We're not talking about small, shitty resolutions that you're likely going to break. We're talking about empire resolutions that are going to change your life, that are going to move the needle, they're going to help you make more income, have a bigger impact, and of course, influence more people in the world worldwide. So if you like this episode, please leave us a 5-star review. Share it with friends. Make sure to pass us along to people who need to make empire-like reviews, or resolutions, I should say. And of course, tell your mama. See ya.
Hey, thanks so much for being here for today's Empire Podcast Show. We would love for you to do a quick little favor for us. Just go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, share it with your friends. And if you're interested in growing your business faster, go to bedroskeuilian.com/empire, fill out the application to see if you're a good fit for our Empire Mastermind group.